All right, everybody, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. Thank you so much for joining us. Before we get started, guys, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com. Again, make sure you go to dynastymirror.com, buy some merchandise. This is the Africa is My Therapy shirt. Buy some books. I'm an author, so please support and buy some books as well. Also, while you're there, subscribe to our email list, join our email list so you guys can stay up to date in regards to what's going on with Dynasty Mirror. Like, share, and subscribe to the content. Again, like, share, and subscribe to the content. We will really appreciate your support. And also become a Patreon, monthly Patreon, patreon.com, search for Huru. Again, patreon.com, search for Huru, you guys. Become a monthly Patreon. Without further ado, I have my brother on with us today, Mr. Drake Reed. And we're going to be discussing, how he was able to trace his roots and back to Mali, how that process worked out and how he was able to get his citizenship because of it. And then also some other endeavors that he is working on. So without further ado, Mr. Drake Reed, everybody.
What's going on, Prince Amir? What's good?
Everything's good, bro. Everything's good, man. So yeah, man, let's jump right into it. Tell everybody where you're from and
okay. Well, my name is Drake Reed. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised, and by way of Clarksville, Tennessee. Finished high school and college out there. And I've been a professional basketball player for 11 years, and I'm also a genealogist now. And through my travels throughout the world, it led me to know the importance of knowing my origins, and I dove into it full force and been able to locate my ancestral village in Mali, and as well as a lot of other great stories and great things on my paternal side. So it's been great, and I'm ready to do that for others.
Okay, now let's jump into, so you play basketball. Tell everybody about your career, your basketball career, and also what led you to wanting to really discover your roots.
Well, as far as basketball goes, I was like most guys, finished up college, and I was expecting an opportunity to play, to be in the NBA. I had a tremendous college career. I was 22-8 my senior year. I've been All-American, Player of the Year, all of that. But those doors didn't open for me. And so I started playing overseas. I started in Australia. I played 7 years in France. I played in Austria, Argentina, Libya, Italy, a lot of different places. And throughout it all, I'll say France is probably the place where more so than anything, I met so many guys on my team and just outside of basketball that are from Africa, from the continent. And that made me start to understand through conversations with them, like, man, I need to figure out this ancestor piece and figure out where I'm from. Because in Europe, people ask you two questions. They say, where are you from? And then they said, all right, well, what's your origin? And when you don't know the origin piece, I mean, you're pretty much lost to a lot of people.
Right. It's funny you said that. First time I went to Africa, I went to Tanzania. Guys, hit that like button. Again, guys, please hit that like button. First time I went to Africa, I went to Tanzania, and they asked me, where are you from? And at first they thought I was South African. Then they thought I was Nigerian, which I am Nigerian, which I found out later on. Then they asked me if I was Ghanaian. And I told them no. I told them I'm from America. And they're like, okay, you're Black American, but where are you from?
Yeah.
And I had to tell them, like, I don't know. All that was stripped from us, during the slave trade. And then also too, when I was in Senegal, this was 2 years ago. Same thing. Like, they didn't understand, like, how do you not know which tribe you were from?
Right.
And I was like, you got to understand, like, we were stripped of all of that during, when they shipped us from Goree Island, that was it. But it's great, like, people like me, we were able to reconnect and find out our origins or where we come from and our ancestral lineage. And
yeah, what you're saying is so true, man. That's what really, I was 23 years old when I first went to France. And, I was like most guys going over there, just like, man, I'm finna hoop, I'm finna get busy, do my thing, and I got there, and the experience that happened was just something I just never was prepared for. I had a lot of guys from West Africa on my team. Most of our guys are from Mali and Senegal and Guinea and Cote d'Ivoire. And so, there were so many misconceptions broken. And, I went through some of those same experiences as you. Guys are like, what's this slavery thing I keep hearing about? What's this racism thing I keep hearing about? And I would just put back. I'm like, man, how you dudes don't know what slavery is, man? And, one of them was a little younger than me. He said, when I broke it down to him, explained to him, he said, man, said, man, I never heard anything like that. That sounds terrible. And and I was just like, man, what kind of restrictions, have I put on myself because I know these things? What could I what other things could I have achieved in life had I not had this complex put on me from an early age? So that was like my first step going into looking into my origins.
Okay. So when did you really start looking to your origins and, explain that process? So when did you really start?
I went into it full force probably at age 27, 6 years ago. Before that, it was like a chain of events that led to it. I would go to one country, something bad would happen. I go to another country, something bad would happen. I always kept having to come to France. My mom kept saying, why you keep going to France more so than other countries? And I was like, I don't know, just basketball, maybe it's the best market for me. She was like, nah, there's something else going on, something deep going on. So I finally worked up the nerve to take one of those DNA tests, and it said it were Mandinkas. So I googled, the Mandinkas, and heard about Sancho Keita and Mansa Musa and all of that, and then I realized, I said, wait a minute, this dude's on my team that's got these names, right? So I hit them up and I said, hey, y'all know these people? They said, yeah, we're descendants. How you know? And I was just like, man, when you think about why you had to go somewhere, as opposed to other places. It's like here I am looking my people right in the face. They look at me in the face, and we didn't know we were the same people. So after that, I really dove in full force and started planning my trip to go to West Africa, and I've been going every year, twice a year, ever since.
Okay. So someone's asking in the chat room. Shout out to Woodrow for the super chat. Someone in the chat room is asking, which DNA test did you take by chance?
I took African ancestry. I took that one because of I studied every last one of them to decide which was the best one for me. And I chose them because they tell you the actual tribe, and they work exclusively for people of African descent. So, all of their DNA samples are coming from people on the continent, and then other Africans who were shipped to the Americas.
Okay. Let's see here. So you found out you were Mandinka. Yeah. You went to Mali. How was that experience? First time you went to Mali?
Man, it was totally crazy. I mean, everything leading up to it, because when I first went, I think I was about 28 or 29. I was playing in a city called Poitiers, and I was planning on going, and I was like, all right, as soon as the season's over, I'm going straight over, But I still was a little hesitant because it was like, man, I'm not going over there to hoop. I'm not going on vacation. Like, I'm going to go meet the chief and going to the villages and stuff. Like, I was like, man, I'm really going to figure some things out. So, everything I kept reading up to that point was like the ancestors this, ancestors that, you must pay homage to your ancestors. So I said, let me put this thing to the test. So one night I said a prayer. I said, to my ancestors that are Mandinkas, that are from West Africa, from the Senegal, Mali area, let me know if this information that I have is true, and if I truly need to go, at the end of the season. And about a week later, I was in Paris in an area called Châtelet, and I went into this African store, and typical African store with all the African clothes and African deities and African leaders and stuff. And so, but this was the first time I was in a place like this and knew what I was looking at, because I've been researching and studying. So I started talking to the owner of the store about it. And he was like, man, I'm surprised a young brother from the States knows about all this, because most of you guys, when you come in here, you don't know or you don't care. And I said, well, I used to be like that because I didn't know. In the States, they pretty much teach us that, we're slaves and our whole life is going to be filled with struggle and turmoil. So, but I've been in France for a while now, and most of my friends are Africans, and I picked up on the culture. I'm planning on going next month. And in the back of his store, he has a large wall with all these African leaders and African ancestors on it. And he said, but when you go to Africa, it's going to be a powerful experience. But don't think it's by chance you came here today. And he raised his right arm towards that back wall and said, the ancestors sent you an invitation. Mm-hmm. I was like, wow, I just prayed on that, man. And just a few minutes later, I was buying a book about Sancho Keita. And Sancho Keita is the Lion King.
Right.
He founded the Malian Empire.
Yeah.
And so as I'm buying the book, there's a man who walks into the store. He starts talking to the owner of the store. Owner of the store looks at me. He said, hey, this is the author of the book. He's going to sign it for you. He's a Mandinka.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I was just like, dang, I knew I had to go.
Confirmation. So you went, like, share with us your experience once you got there to Mali.
When I got to Mali, I mean, it's like I've been to 6 African countries, and I've been to Africa before going to Mali. But when you're actually somewhere where your ancestors actually laid foot on, where they're actually from, you feel it much more intensely. I have a great time in Senegal. I have a great time when I'm in Cabo Verde and other places. But when I'm in Mali, it's like I walked these streets before. I know these people. They look like my aunts. They look like my uncles. They look like my cousins. And the connection is just immediate. Everything about the people there was just incredible. You walking down, you could be outside at 3 or 4 in the morning in a dark alley, man. Nothing's gonna happen to you. Nobody can even think about doing it, causing you any harm. They just can't get to it. I remember I bought some artwork there one time, and I kept asking everyone. I said, "Man, is anybody gonna take this? Like, if I put it under the plane, And I had to ask them multiple times. They could like, what? Somebody take it? Like what? They couldn't, and I had to realize over time, like that's just not how they do things.
Right.
And man, all my stuff got to my final destination, but picking up those things, meeting the chief, and being able to speak French to him and communicate and learn so much more because I could communicate with him from being in France. That was just a huge step. Being able to be taught everything from start to finish, from what happened prior to slavery up to modern day, it's changed my life completely, and it's changed my family's life.
All right, guys, make sure you hit that like button. And also, too, what we'll do here in about, we'll say about 20 minutes, we'll open up the phone lines as well. All right, so you were there. What did they share with you, the Chiefs, like while you were there? Like, I know you got a name too. What's your name?
Musa Keita.
Okay, there you go.
Yeah. First when I got there, just along the way, it was interesting because we had to stop and get some koala nuts. Anyone who's been to Mali, when you go to meet a chief, you can't just when you go to any village, you can't just go up in there. You have to go meet the chief first, and they have to give you permission to go around. But koala nuts is a way to show that you come in peace. It's the traditional way. So we stopped to get some koala nuts, and they get out the car and leave the car running. And I'm like, hey man, like I stayed in the car because I'm like, man, I'm not getting out the car, and y'all leave it running. We in the middle of nowhere. And so, eventually I get out the car. I'm like, man, you're not gonna stop the car. They're like, for what? I said, man, somebody might take it. And they couldn't, like I said again, man, they couldn't get to it. They're like, man, nobody gonna mess with their car. So I'm starting to, really understand that the camaraderie and the trust level between the people is just way different in the States, man. I grew up in St. Louis, man. Ain't no way I'm leaving my car running.
Man, I know out here in Atlanta, if you had a gas pump, right, you pumping gas in your car, and the minute you hop out your car, they're taking your car and smashing off.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, so when I meet the chief, at first, he was kind of giving me a hard time, and it was like, how you Malian, and you came all this way, and blah blah blah. They got to check you to see if you like a tourist or what you really about. And my translator was explaining, but he wasn't explaining with this right conviction at the time. And it's like, but now after I did all this research, it's like, man, this French just clicked, man, and I went fluent, like, and I explained everything that I experienced up until meeting him, throughout my career, throughout my life, meeting guys from this area, everything that led me to that point. And once I explained it to him, he ended up stopping me. Said, "Okay, you one of us. Say no more." And then he broke down the whole entire history from like the 900s all the way up until modern day. Everything that happened prior to slavery, everything that happened in Africa that led up to that point. All of the great achievements that everyone in the tribe accomplished prior to. I learned about Abubakar Keita II, and how he discovered Brazil 200 years before, Christopher Columbus, and how he named 7 cities, that still bear the Mandinka names to this day. And he was known as far north as southern Arizona. I learned everything about, Mansa Musa and Sanjata Keita and Modibo Keita and all these other great leaders. And it's like everything I kept learning, it's like I could feel this trauma and these things that was on my mind and on my spirit that I just didn't know was there, from growing up in the States and being taught, the false version of who I am. And now I'm at the source, and they're teaching me who I really am and who my people really are. And it's like, it's changed everything about me. I walk with a lot more confidence, and it's not like I lacked confidence before, But it's like now, when you have that solid pillar inside of you that tremendous, inside and out who you truly are. You just feel unstoppable.
Guys, again, hit that like button, share the content, go to dynastymirror.com. Now, how are you able to leverage that to become Malian officially?
Well, here's the thing, that was really the first step. Now, and this is where my company is going to come into play a little bit, but I've been able to document and prove, where my ancestors are from. So my ancestors, I have 4 Malian ancestors that are from Mali, okay, from 7 generations ago. And I'll just give you a story about 2 of them. Their names were Thomas and Annie Word. Thomas's name was Keita prior to being taken, okay. But Thomas and Annie were in a relationship, and they were kidnapped they were taken by the French in 1856 in Kai, Mali, which is in the western portion of Mali. They were taken up the Senegal River up to St. Louis, Senegal, which was the capital of Senegal at the time and one of the major trade hubs, of its time. They were shipped from St. Louis, Senegal to Havana, Cuba. And in Havana, Cuba, those two had a child, okay? And during this time, in between 1857 and 1860, Annie was shipped to New Orleans, okay? And when she got to New Orleans, she was stationed in the French Quarter for a time and then sold to a plantation north of New Orleans. And then she ended up escaping and going to West Helena, Arkansas, up the Mississippi River. And so Thomas and his son, they were shipped to Galveston, Texas. And in Galveston, Texas, Thomas ended up being sold away from that child. And somehow he ended up being sold to a slave owner in West Helena, Arkansas. So those two end up meeting up again, in West Helena, Arkansas. And from how the story was told to us is the slave, the owner, Thomas's owner got sick, and he knew how to through herbs and through African medicines, knew how to heal people. And because she was able to heal him, he allowed them to be married. Okay, and then they became Thomas and Annie Word. All right, and they had another child who they also named Thomas Word, who was my great grandfather of 6 generations ago, and he married my great grandmother 6 generations ago, Lucinda Word, and both of her parents are from Mali as well. But to keep the story short, I'll just tell you about Thomas's side. But anyways, I've been able to trace this back, and Mama Cindy is who Lucinda Word is. We call her Mama Cindy. We call Thomas Word Papa Tom, and Mama Cindy lived to be over 100 years old. She died in 1980. So all of the elders in our family know her. She's passed down so many stories and things that we've been able to document with modern technology. So we've been able to, reference, cross-reference, and through my travels and going to Mali several times and being able to be on the ground, I've been able to figure out so much more than had I not had those experiences.
Okay, let's talk about your company. So what's the inspiration behind Sankofa Global Exchange?
So the Sankofa bird, the Sankofa literally means to go back and acquire. So and as you see, the bird always reaches back to grab the egg, and that egg represents knowledge. So we're going back to get the knowledge. Global is for our people are global people. So we populated the entire world. No matter where you go, you're going to see people of African descent. Exchange is the way of our ancestors. So everything is an exchange. I tell you, I help you, you help me. I scratch your back, you scratch my back, and that's the way of our ancestors. So you put it all together. That's what we represent. So, but our company, what we're doing is we're helping Africans who have been affected by the transatlantic slave trade. Like if you don't know your African name, you don't know your African village, we're helping people get that information. And I've been able to successfully locate our ancestral villages in Mali and in Kai and Kangaba. I've been able to figure out my father's side of the family and figure out so many different areas where we're from on his side, which is incredible. But now we have a system in place to where anyone who is affected by that, if you want to know exactly where you're from, where your people actually laid foot on, most people are pretty much taught, hey, we're from Africa, we come from kings, we come from queens. But there's so many kings, there's so many queens, there's so many areas. But I'm going to help you pinpoint exactly where your ancestors are from, and without doubt.
Okay, perfect. Guys, make sure hit that like button. Also, if you want to call in, send an email. All right, send the email. Email me here, guys, Uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. and I'll send you the link, and you guys can call in and ask your question. We'll take a couple questions. I was going to ask, so how long have you been working on this project, Chief?
For 6 years. 6 years for us. Yeah.
Okay. So, guys, if you want to call in and ask a question, Kim, the name of the company is Sankofa Global Exchange. If you guys want to call in, send me an email, and I'll send you the link, and you guys can come in and ask your question. Let's see what else we have here in the chat. Oh, how long did it take you to learn French? That's what people are asking.
It really doesn't take that long. I was able to have basic conversation with people after about 2 months. Become fluent. It really depends on how quick your learning curve is. It could take half a year. It could take 2 or 3 years. But I think the first hurdle for me was coming from the States. They pretty much teach us in school that learning another language is so hard and so difficult, and it's going to take all this work and practice. And so they really make you, they put this box on you. So it makes you believe that you can't do it. But when I got over there, I was saying these type of things like, oh, man, it's difficult to learn another language, blah, blah, blah. And all my teammates speak 3 or 4 languages. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, it's easy. But just being around them and being open to it, you know, when they said those things to me and I'm watching them speaking all these different languages, it let me know that I can do it. Okay, so then I began to communicate a lot easier just for being around folks that had that mentality. So it really depends on how quick of a learner you are and how open you are to it.
Okay. Let's see here. How do you feel about knowing your roots? Shout out to Ben.
I feel so incredible, and I think knowing my roots, man, it's so many things you could take advantage of. You know, financially, it's so many things you could take advantage of. Mentally. I mean, I wake up in the morning every day knowing that, you know, my ancestors are with me and I can accomplish anything. I know their highest levels of achievement. I know what they can do. You know, and when it's your specific family, you know, that's the difference. When you're talking about someone who's not a part of your lineage, you resonate with them some, but when you find out it's your great great grandfather or your great 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 uncle or your great 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 aunt or something like that, you know that blood is flowing within you. So when you know that they achieve great things under extreme pressure and duress, you know that you're like, hey, what am I going through that's really that tough? I can do whatever, you know, because that's the blood that flows through me. So it's like the way I feel, I can't even explain it in words, you know. And I really pray that everyone else has the opportunity to learn what I've learned about our lineage. When I teach this to my family, I had the opportunity to teach this to my family at our family reunion. You know, where exactly we're from, what we achieved prior to slavery and everything that happened along the way. And when you just see the mental trauma and the tears of joy come into everyone's eyes, you know, I mean, it's one of the most powerful feelings. It's bigger than any championship I've ever won. You know, it's not even close.
Really?
Yeah. So it's people that's 60, 70, 80 years old, you know, that they didn't know where they was from.
Right.
But everyone knows. So it's a new foundation that's been laid for our family. And there's only one way to go now, and that's up.
Let's see what else. Shout out to Susan's Tribe, everybody. She said shout out to you for the encouragement.
Oh, no worries. Anytime.
So, guys, again, if you want to call in and ask your question, the email is in the chat room. It's uhuru@searchforuhuru.com, uhuru@searchforuhuru.com. Now, this is a little bit off topic, but me and you are both D1 athletes. You think college football is going to happen this year?
It's not looking good, man. I'm just interested to see what's going to happen. You know, people can deal. They're used to not seeing football and basketball and stuff in the summer, but you're talking about, you know, missing the whole season. That's going to be tough. You know, it's a major adjustment because now what people are doing is they have to fix their own situations at home. There's no distractions.
Right.
So it's a real plus if you look at it properly and look at it the right way. You can fix a lot of the things that's been holding you back.
Yeah, because allegedly the Big Ten and Pac-12 canceled the season this year, football season, fall sports, allegedly.
Man, it's a lot of broken hearts now. It's a lot of broken hearts.
I'm over. I kind of, I went to University of Georgia, and once I graduated, I mean, I'll watch some of the games depending on who they're playing, but I'm not into it like that because I got bills to pay and I got my kid and I'm always traveling. So, I'm not really.
when you get, and you know how it is, you get older, you have more responsibilities.
Right.
I watch ball sometimes, but hey man, I wake up every day, I go to the gym, I come home, I eat some food that's gonna make my body better for when I go back to the gym. Then I take a nap and go back to the gym, and I come home and go to sleep. I gotta do it every day, practice, games. So it has to be a really good game for me to sit up, man, and watch. Because it's our job, man. I've been doing it since I was 5, 6 years old.
Mhm. Like I said, Destiny Forever. He covered that Destiny as far as him getting his citizenship and how long did it take. Uh, Unless you want to cover that again, that's up to you.
What? How long did it take to get a
Yeah.
citizenship? Two. Was it? Let's see. I think it was a year and a half, a year and a half, 2 years. I got it officially in 2019
Okay.
on New Year's Day.
Okay. All right. Cool. So about a year and a half.
Hmm.
All right. Cool. Perfect. 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 All right. Let's see here. Again, if you guys want to call in and ask your question, send me an email and you could call in. I'll send you the link. See what else we got here. King Joseph, Brother Reed already went into all of that as far as he traces African ancestry. Do you have a website?
Yeah, yeah. Our website is www.sankofa. That's SANKOFA globalexchange.com. That's www.sankofaglobalexchange.com. And we're also on Instagram and Facebook at The Ancestors Way.
Okay.
If you have any questions about our services or anything, all you have to do is email us at info@sankofaglobalexchange.com.
Let me put that in the chat room real quick.
We'll get you registered and we'll get you ready.
Oh, here's a good question. Have you ever thought about officially changing your name to your?
Yeah, I have. It's something you definitely think about. I mean, especially when
I did that twice.
Chief gives you a name, and it's like one thing I could tell you is when you learn more about your ancestors and who you truly are, it becomes a responsibility to uphold a certain standard. So it's definitely something that I look into. When my playing days are over.
Yeah. So I was Dynasty Mir. Then once I got my Yoruba names, I'm Dynasty Befe Adewale Emir. So
Well, the cool thing is all your names are deep now.
there you go. I think that's something we're missing out on as far as Black American culture. We don't take the time out to really name each other. We just give us our names and that's it.
Yeah.
But we really don't find the meaning of the names. So
the meaning of the names is like, dang, when you think about numerology and what that does, the vibration of when someone says your name, man, and you find out that your name means something real powerful. You're like, dang,
right.
There's such reverence in the names that they give.
Let's see here. How often do you go to Mali?
I go to Mali every year. I do my best to go twice a year. I had everything set up to go this June, but when this COVID stuff happened, I still could have went, but I would have been stranded there, because I opened the airport like I think last week or the week before last, so I would have been stuck there, and been hurting, man. But as soon as everything clears up, and I have the next opportunity, I'm definitely going back, going to my villages and stuff and learning as much as possible.
Absolutely. So what we'll do, guys, this year we don't have anybody emailing for the to call in. We'll take a couple more questions. Oh, here we go. Bismarck, I'm about to send you the link right now. Bismarck, I am about to send you the link right now. All right, Bismarck, I just sent the link. Bismarck, I just sent the link. Yeah, as far as changing your name, all you have to do is just you go to the court, you file a petition. They do a background check, but they really don't tell you, but they're doing a background check. Then in about a month, you go to the court for your date. They approve it. They give you a form, and then you just take that form and you just start changing your information at your bank and your ID, get your new driver's license and all that. So it's pretty simple.
Yeah,
It's pretty simple.
The
So it's
main
about
thing
a
I'm
month.
looking for now is I have my mother's side of the family. I have we found their family name, But on my father's side, we still haven't found a family name. So I'm doing my best to find that, so I can have both.
Yeah. So, Minska, I sent the link to you. So, go ahead and call in. I sent you the link, so we're waiting on you. Let's see. Here we go. Oh, go ahead.
Hi everyone. Hi Dynast.
Hello.
Sorry, Dynast. I think you probably thought I was dude, but I'm not. So
Okay.
I just have a question. So you did explain about your experiences and how you got to Mali, but it's like, what really made you want to actually go? Because a lot of us know about these type of things, but it's like, how did you actually get the courage to do that?
Well, that's a good question. When I left the country, uh, I would say it's a variety of things. When I was a kid, my parents always made sure we traveled on. My brother and I traveled on planes and trains because they grew up in the hood like most people, and when they got older, when they got to college, they started traveling, and they said, and they made sure that when we were young, that we would travel a lot because they knew how important that was for them to be fearless, for us to be fearless as we got older. So when it was time for me to go out of the country, I actually went out of the country when I was 16 to go play in a basketball tournament in Italy. So I'd already been across the ocean before, and living in Europe and Australia, uh, you know, that was really like my prerequisite before going to Africa. And because I was on a team with guys that were Africans, I was more open to going. And then when I went to go play, I played in Libya for a little while, and that was pretty rough when I was there. But after playing in Libya, I had no fear because uh, everything that was going on, and that they had some civil unrest during that time. And after that, I had no fear to go anywhere. But even before that, I think the main thing is you have this calling inside of you. Is like you need to go, and there's so many doubters. Like I remember my first time when I was 16 crossing the ocean, and everyone's like, "Man, why did you go off with it? Why did you go? The plane could go down." And I had all this stuff going through my head, and I'm 15,
Yeah.
16 years old, and I'm on the plane, and everyone's perfectly in peace, and I'm thinking in my head like, "Man, what happens if something if something happens?" And then after about halfway through the flight, I said, "You know what? If this plane was gonna go down, I don't think anybody would have got on the plane. And if the plane does crash, it doesn't matter if you're over water or land; it's pretty much a wrap." So, that put me at ease. But whenever you spend a lot of time outside the country, everything that you've been taught is challenged. Everything religiously is challenged. Everything that you've been taught about yourself is challenged. And what happens is over time, you gain a certain level of confidence and you start to ascend. The things that you talk about, the things that you believe are real, are much different than where they were before. Even if you just went for 2 or 3 months, if you stay out the country for more than 6 months, you're going to change immensely for the better. So when it came time to go to Africa, it was like, you know what, I've been on basically everywhere there is to go. I'm definitely going to see where my ancestors are from, because there's too many things happening for me not to go.
Yeah.
And there's so many people that will doubt you and will say that, I ain't going over there with them Africans and, and whatever kind of excuses and things that they have. But when you go, trust me, it's going to definitely be worth it. Every minute being there, it's like another portion of your brain activates as soon as the tires hit the ground. You know.
Okay, one more question and then I will leave you, I promise. Um Also, like when you're actually there, another fear I guess that some of us have is like, how do you integrate with like the locals? Like how do you integrate with the culture?
So I'm assuming that you're of African descent. Are you African descent?
No.
Okay, you're
I
not.
mean, yes. Yes. Sorry.
No.
Okay.
so I mean, well, there's a misconception that everyone is like that you'll be out of place. I mean, Prince Amir can tell you that when he goes over there, they don't know that he's not from there until he starts speaking. And me, I'm a little lighter skinned, so I kind of stand out a little more. But there are light skinned people in a lot of countries in Africa. It's it's not like someone's gonna be walking around with like you have walking around a big sign on your head that says, "Hey, I'm not from here." Most people not even really paying attention to you like that. But what I've learned, and not just in Africa, but pretty much every country, I've been to 26 countries total. As long as you show that you are interested in the culture and that you're not there like as a tourist just to stun on people and buy up everything and like, hey, I'm the American, I'm the foreigner, and that as long as you are a humble person and you come there on a mission, everyone's going to accept you right away. I mean, you're going to feel that this is family as soon as you get there. There are some things, some knuckleheads that can get on your nerves, but I would say by and large, the majority of the time, it's going to be the most wonderful experience you've ever had.
Okay, thank you so much for the question.
No worries.
No problem. No problem. Barbara, when you watched the replay, that was all that was covered. Let's see here. Any other questions, anyone? If not, we'll go ahead and close out. Any more questions? Well, Mr. Reed, anything you'd like to share in closing?
You know, I'll go ahead and explain. So at Sankofa Global Exchange, we offer three options. We have two classes, a basic and advanced. The basic class will pretty much get you 50 to 60% of your ancestral history. It will cover basically everything that's going to that happened to your ancestors in the States, the Caribbean, South America, wherever they emanate from, leading and as well as identifying where they're from in Africa down to the village. And that will prepare you for the advanced class, which is for people who would like to actually go to Africa. And even if you plan on going to Africa the next year or 2 or 3 years down the road, if you have these two classes under your belt, you'll know exactly what to do when you get to Africa to get the remaining portion of your ancestral history. And we're going to walk you through each step. Our third service is actually doing your full genealogy chart. So if you're a person and you don't want to put in all that type of work, but you do want to know, we'll do it for you. So just go to our website at www.sankofaglobalexchange.com. Send us an email at info@sankofaglobalexchange.com. And follow us on our social media and our YouTube and stay informed. And we'll be in touch. We'll get you registered and get you taken care of.
We got one more caller who wants to call in.
Okay.
Yeah. Kale's ran. I think you don't. You guys, make sure you hit that like button, make sure you share and subscribe. It is thundering and lightning right now in Atlanta, Georgia.
Man, it's been raining like crazy here too. You're probably getting the weather we had last week, man.
That's why. Are you in Tennessee right now or St. Louis?
I'm in St. Louis right now. I've pretty much been here, man, because you just don't know if the gyms are going to be open. I usually travel quite a bit in the States in the summer, but half of the city shut down, and then you might go somewhere and you can't get in the gym. I got to stay in shape, man.
Well, Atlanta's pretty much open, so Atlanta's open. So
hey, that could be a risk too, man. Some cats just hit me up the other day, talking about playing pickup, and I'm like, man, I don't know.
I was ask you, what's about to ask you? What was about to say? Are they going to be playing high school sports, fall sports in Missouri?
They're still going back and forth about it. There's been a lot of unrest about it because they're talking about maybe 20,000 students might not be playing sports this year, and that's going to be a big issue. Man, I can imagine high school ball. Like, man, what you gonna do if you can't hoop? You can't play ball and have extracurricular activities.
Mm-hmm. Kels Rain, go ahead.
Yes. You play for the I'm not sure the NBA, sir. I saw the banner. I wasn't sure if you played the actual professional sports. Or just
I play professional sports. I just I've never played in the NBA though.
Oh, okay. Well, the only question I had to ask is, on your journey through Africa, did you get a chance to see all 50 or 54 countries since you started this journey?
I haven't seen all 54. I mean, I've seen 6, but not 54. That's a lot. I would like to see all 54, but it's going to take some time for me to do that.
So, do you feel that once Africa, I guess, when they unify and they start opening all their borders, you think every person, either here in this country or abroad, to try to really just venture all parts of Africa to get the whole feel instead of just certain parts that speak only like speak the English language?
That really depends on the person. For me, it was easier to go to the French-speaking countries because I've been around French-speaking people. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
Going to an English-speaking country naturally resonates with anyone from the States or from the UK because that's like something that people really care about. Like, man, they don't even speak English, and stuff like that. If you're that type of person, you're gonna be very limited in your experiences traveling outside the country. Part of the adventure is learning a new language. Part of the adventure is learning a new culture. And that's when you find out different things about yourself and about other people. And that's going to expand your experience. Now, I would never say to limit yourself to one area because let's just say that you speak English now, but let's just say that your ancestors are from East Africa or southern portion of Africa and they don't speak. They might not speak English in that region. Are you not going to go? You're just going to go to like Ghana and do the stuff that majority of everybody else does, or do you want to go to where your actual ancestors actually are from? That's something to think about. Because you're going to have more substance and more power when you go to the actual area where your people are from. So I would never say limit yourself. Yeah, you should travel and go to all areas. You might want to. You might your ancestors might be from West Africa, but you might like Central Africa better. You might like Eastern African better and lay roots there. But don't limit yourself at all.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I guess I have no other questions right now, Dinus.
All right, cool, brother. We appreciate you. We appreciate you coming on, brother. All right, y'all. So we'll go ahead and close out, man. Everyone, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you go to dynastymir.com. Make sure you go to Sankofa Global Exchange.com, everyone. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, search for Huru. Peace.
Peace.